Yes, guys, how are we doing? And welcome back to Brewers Watch YouTube channel. Today, we are talking about the FA Cup game happening tomorrow, Burton Albion versus West Ham, and my predictions, my starting 11 predictions for Burton and for West Ham as well. So let's get into it. So, obviously coming off a 2-2 draw against Port Vale. Not the greatest of games, I have to say. Very, very poor, very toothless, and basically everywhere, really. I've been saying to a lot of people, I'm surprised that game even went ahead with the state of that pitch. But going into the West Ham game, it is going to be a massive, massive test for not just the team, but for Gary Bowyer as well. You've been coming up against a Premier League team. For the first time since, since Man City came on the second leg after beating us 9-0. I think that's probably the last time. Obviously, another former team coming, former Premier League team as well, in Leicester City last season. Was it last season? I think it was last season when they beat us in the Carabao Cup. But, West Ham aren't, exactly doing great at the minute. Obviously they just drew to Manchester United, so their heads might be held high, obviously, getting a draw against a somewhat big team, as people like to say. So, some people like to say not a big team, but we're not talking about Manchester United. We're here to talk about Burton Albion, and this is my predictions for the starting 11 on the screen right now, as you can see. So starting off in goal, we have Bradley Collins. I think that's a logical choice. Starting at the left wing back, going with Sebastian Revan, or if he's fit, Dylan Williams. I think especially with that position, with that role, you've got three key players. You've got Jack Armour as well, who can also go into that position and do really well. Obviously, he's a bit shaky at times. 1 minute he can do really well, the next he can be really, really poor. But I think you've got to be looking at that as well. The three centre-backs, I've gone with Jasper Moon, Van Coote and Hartridge. That's if Jasper Moon is fit. Obviously, they have been in training. Obviously, him and a lot of other players as well. I would 100% go with Jasper Moon in defence. Hartridge, 50-50. Obviously, there's a lot of players still not, still not fit, like, Finn Delap, for example, as well. But at the end of the day, you got to go with who's been fit. You're not going to want to bring a player and chuck them into the starting 11. Even if they're fit, just even to do a 60-minute, 70-minute game. But I have done put the players that I think should go into that those positions. Just in case they are fit and they can play. So obviously Hartridge, Van Cooten, on his day could be one of our best defenders. And obviously Jasmine and Hartridge. Right wing back, obviously we've gone with Godwin Malife, our captain. The guy who, obviously coming into the season, I'm really surprised we kept him. After the performance he showed last season, it was very surprising that, we kept him. I don't think there was any teams that came in for him, from what I know. But obviously Salford were the talking points coming out of the transfer window. But obviously he stayed. Where do I put my thoughts on that? Massive news. Keeping Godwin Malife, I think he's one of the players that we're likely to stay anyway. But obviously going into midfield now, I've gone with Charlie Webster and Koulibaly. Why have I gone with Koulibaly? Purely for the fact that Andy Cannon isn't going to get a start. I don't think he's ready for a full start yet. George Evans, I can see Bowyer starting him. I really can. I think it will be, Evans and Koulibaly. I don't really see Cannon starting. But you never know what he sees in his training. It could be Webster starting, which I have put Webster into my starting 11, mainly because Charlie Webster's our best midfielder that we've got. If we want to create chances, we want to score goals. Charlie Webster is that man to create them. He's basically a heart of midfield. You go into that midfield, you go into that attack Charlie Webster is that number 8. He is that man to create, good passes. He is there to just create anything. Left wing, the man himself, Tyree Shade, Sami Namina, AA. You've got to go with Tyree Shade. You can't not go with Tyree Shade. Tyree Shade has been one of our best players this season, if not our best player this season. I don't think anyone really thought he would, be as good as he has been, but, the sky's the limit for Tyree Shade. And what better way than, to prove himself against a Premier League team, a team that are looking likely to be going down this season. If it does well, maybe West Ham will think, let's fucking sign him. But, yeah, obviously right wing, Kyron Lofdale's probably the only player that you can really put there. Who else can you really put there? I mean, Fabio Tavares, but I don't think he's even going to get on the bench. But we'll see. And obviously in striker, I've gone with Jake Beasley because, yeah, it's Jake Beasley. He's our top goal scorer with 12 goals this season. A couple of assists, but he's the one player you got. He's basically the first thing you have in that team. When you look, when the team sheets come up, you're expecting a Jake Beasley, you're expecting a Tyree Shade. Are you expecting a Charlie Webster? Is he at 90 minutes ready? Is he ready for 90 minutes, or is he ready to start? Who knows? But is Jack Karma going to be back? Don't know if he's injured. I know Dylan Williams is, but is Cakes Chalky going to be back? I don't think Chalky will be back just yet. I think there's going to be I don't know what the injury window is for Cakes Chalky. Is he going to be back for the West Ham game, or will he be back for Rotherham away? Who knows? But yeah, now let's go into my West Ham lineup. Going into my predictions for the West Ham lineup, I think a goal you go with probably Areola. I mean, Han Hansen's their number 1 goalie. You'd probably want your number goalie to be resting, just for the league, because obviously they're on a relegation fight. So I could possibly see Areola starting, in that right back role. Kyle Walker-Peters, I think they will still go strong, but I think they will also rotate a little bit as well. I mean, I don't really know much about West Ham, but I think they go with Kyle Walker-Peters in right back. Right centre back, Max Kilman. Again, I think they, keep at least a few of, probably most of their starting 11 players in the Premier League on. But I think Max Kilman will definitely start. Left centre back, going with Mavropanos. Don't know much about him, but I think, as I said, they will rotate a little bit, but not as much. Left back, I've gone with Wan-Bissaka. Again, I don't really know much about their team, so I think Wan-Bissaka will probably go in that left back role. CDM, Thomas Souček, what a player! I think he's a terrific player for West Ham. Obviously scored on last weekend against Manchester United. Again, solid player, solid defensive midfielder. I think definitely he'll start. Left centre mid, I think I'll put Potts. Again, I think they'll rotate a little bit, give some of the younger players, a chance to just play in the cup. And then, the last left centre back is Fernandes. Fernandes has been one head of a player for West Ham this season. Obviously signed him from, I think it was Southampton last season. Right centre mid is Potts. Fernandes and Potts centre mids. I think that's how they go forward. Fernandes is a terrific player in the midfield. He's got a great right foot on him. He scored a worldie a few games ago. I don't know who it was against, but he scored an absolutely incredible goal. I think it was against Sunderland. He scored an absolute bout of a goal, which will definitely be contended for goal of the season. Obviously when they beat Sunderland 3-1 at home. Left wing, Somerville, one player that's very confident with his form at the minute. I think he's scored in the last 3 games or something right now, or last 2 games. One player that's lightning quick on the wing. And right wing, Adama Traore, obviously just recently signed him on loan from Fulham. I think you sign him. I think you don't sign him. I think you start him. especially with that pace. He is the start, but he's definitely a rapid player. On his day, he can be lethal. Then obviously striker kind of Callum Wilson, a player that, in the January transfer window, he was looking to terminate his contract, wasn't getting much game time. But I think he's another player that scored against Sunderland, I think. I'm not too sure. I mean, I don't follow West Ham. I do check up on the Premier League highlights, but, I don't really, look. But, yeah, I think that's how we go and how they go. Score predictions, again, I wait on the day to see what the lineups are saying and go from there. But I think maybe we just go with the 5 at the back, 5-2-3. Just try and hold it on and maybe get a scrappy 1-0 win over West Ham, or you never know. Might be one of those cup upsets where we just score a few goals and they just can't, get onto us. But obviously, a manager like, good manager, very good manager, obviously got Nottingham Forest into Europe last season, trying to keep, West Ham in the Premier League, but will he do it? I don't know. But I think that's how we go with into the FA Cup game. I think that's how West Ham go. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what your predictions are for the game. And obviously I am going to the game, so do expect a vlog for the game. And I'll see you there. Like, comment and subscribe. Let's try and hit 100 subscribers before the end of the year, or 250 subscribers at the least. So yeah, I'll see you on Saturday. Peace out.